Today's video, I thought we'd do something a little bit different and just have a conversation about concealed carry. A couple of years ago, I made a video entitled 3 Concealed Carry Mistakes That Could Get You Killed. Since become my most viewed video with over 2 million views. And I gotta say, after reading the comments in that video for a couple of years, I've come to the conclusion that there's an even larger mistake that I didn't list that could definitely get you killed concerning concealed carry. So in this video, we're gonna talk about that, what I've kind of learned from reading those comments. And I'm gonna tell you what I consider the solution to that mistake. So we're gonna do that coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me here at the old backyard swing. So, as I said, hopefully we just have a conversation today. And as I said, a couple of years ago, I made the 3 concealed carry mistakes that could get you killed video. And it's got over 2 million views now, a lot of comments, a lot of discussion and a lot of disagreement with what I said on a couple of things. And so I thought briefly I'd give you a kind of a little bit of background on that in case you missed that video, and we'll talk about what I've learned, I think, at least in my opinion, is the #1 mistake that could get you killed. This video is sponsored by my friends at clickbelts.com, where you can save 15% by using the coupon code SOP15 at checkout. ClickBelts feature genuine Cobra buckles, and they are sewn right here in the USA in the great state of Texas. They've even got the really cool TSA-friendly poly Cobra buckle now. So if you're looking for a very, very strong, very cool belt, I encourage you to check out the folks at clickbelts.com. Don't forget, use the coupon code SOP15 to save 15%. First, let me say that I said this video is going to be about my opinion, and I think it is, but the 3 concealed carry mistakes that get you killed was not about my opinion. Those are straight up factual logic, and people want to disagree with those all they can. I didn't say they will get you killed, but they could get you killed. And just as a quick recap, the first one was not carrying an extra magazine or extra ammo, and I think a lot of people have disagreed with me based upon the fact that the odds are you're going to need this many rounds or that many rounds or whatever. And as I said in the video, the #1 reason for carrying an extra magazine is to fix your gun, because the magazine is the most common point of failure in a semi-automatic pistol. #2 is not carrying with a chamber loaded. That is probably the most contentious point that I made. And #3 was not getting any training. Those were not my opinions. All right, so there's no doubt that if you have a magazine failure and you don't have an extra magazine, you're out of the fight, you're done. There's no disputing the fact that the need to chamber a round adds time and adds an extra step and adds more fine motor skills or motor skills to the process. Whether you may or may not have time to do that, well, there's no disputing the fact that it does add an extra step in the process. It's a self-induced handicap. Just like not having a magazine is a self-induced handicap. All the 3 things I talked about were self-induced handicaps, not being proactive and getting some training and improving your skill level and your confidence and competence level is a self-induced handicap. Now, is it going to 100% get you killed? No, but it is definitely, there's no disputing that those are self-induced handicaps. So you can disagree with whether or not you think they are they're significant enough to worry about, but there's no doubt that they are. You can't dispute that they are self-induced handicaps. I guess you can, but that's illogical. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. Let me get back on track here. So, in my opinion, based on comments that argue with me about all 3 of those points, and say that I'm wrong and they're stupid, and there's no basis for that. I think the number one mistake that could get you killed as a concealed carrier, whether you're a new concealed carrier or you've been doing it for years, is basically having the wrong mindset. And I know that's a very general concept, but they're all mindset issues. They're having the wrong assumptions about what you will or won't be faced with, or will or won't have time to do. Many of those assumptions are based on statistics. We're going to talk about in just a minute. Having the assumption that I'll have time to do this or I'll have time to do that. And not thinking things through, not taking the time to be honest with yourself and think things through in a logical standpoint, not based on what you've seen on Hollywood, not based on what your best expectations. I've noticed in my decades on this planet, some people tend to look at the best case scenario and assume they're going to be faced with the best case scenario. And I think when you're looking at I think that's naive in many cases. When you're looking at a self-defense situation, you really should be gaming it from a worst case scenario. If things go better than that, then that's great, but you should plan and prepare and train for worst case scenarios, not for best case scenarios, not for I'm going to have time to do this, or I'll probably have time to do that, or everything's going to be according to statistical probability. You should train and prepare for worst case. And I think that's where a lot of people miss the boat. I see a lot of comments that, well, the average gunfight is only 3 rounds based upon some sort of statistic they found, or the average gunfight only lasts 3 seconds, or the average this or the average that. Obviously, this is not a scientific study as far as a poll, but based upon the people that have commented on this video, the number one concern people have about carrying with a round in the chamber is safety. I've had people tell me that, well, they don't carry for a round in the chamber because of their kids. Well, first of all, this is about concealed carry. If that gun is not on your body, it should be safe. Okay, you shouldn't leave it laying around for kids to get it. They shouldn't be able to get it off of your body if it's on your body. Again, it's about safety. So if you follow the correct safety procedures, then you're gonna be safe if you have a safe firearm. And that's the other thing. So if you've got a firearm you don't trust, you need a different firearm. The other thing is that, well, I'll have time because the odds are so-and-so. Or what I've heard this a lot lately, that I need that extra time to make that decision, right? I don't want to just go off. Look, you got to make those decisions in advance. You got to decide in advance, and it comes back to mindset, what your response is going to be, and mentally prepare yourself for that. Am I willing to take another human being's life to defend myself or my family? You got to get that clear in your head now. I certainly never ever want to, but if it comes down to defending my family, then I made the decision that that's a horrible choice that I'm willing to make. So you kind of got to get that stuff straight in your head up front, because thinking that you need that time, that might be the last time you have on earth, or the last time your family has on earth. Look, there's no guarantees. Carrying a gun does not make you impervious. It does not mean that you're going to win every gunfight. It just increases your chances of survival in a lethal confrontation, in my opinion. So there's that. The other thing is the confidence. That people aren't confident in themselves or in their firearms, so they're concerned, afraid to carry with an empty chamber. And I keep bringing that one up because that's the number one thing I get pushback on, is that carrying a loaded chamber. But yet there are numerous instances. If you go to John Correa's channel, Active Self-Protection, numerous instances throughout the world from surveillance camera footage that show armed confrontations where people lost their life because they somehow tried to chamber a round. I'm not going to rehash that. I've already done an entire video on that. But again, saying you need the extra time means that you need to gain confidence and competence. And one more thing about that, and I'll tell you, go to the solution. And if you haven't already figured it out, you probably will in just a second. But it was about competence. I made the comment on that video about that lack of confidence. Competence breeds a lack of confidence, and people get insulted because they think you're calling them incompetent. And look, we are all incompetent in some areas. I'm a very incompetent brain surgeon, okay? I'm a pretty competent plumber. I'm a reasonably competent, firearms handler. Because I've taken time to improve that. So it's not an insult to be incompetent about a certain topic. It's not a insult to your intelligence or anything else. It just means that you have not taken the time to become competent in that particular subject matter. And for a lot of guys, that's a pride thing, because we've been around guns all our life. I had a guy that I worked with, told him I was going to take some more firearm training. He said, well, I ain't need training. Had a gun all my life. Well, so there's a certain level of pride there. And so I think that, again, people make excuses to cover up internally for their own lack of confidence. So anyway, all those issues are up here, right? None of them are skill issues. None of them are tactical issues. None of them are equipment issues. They're all right here. And this is where everything happens, really. So I'm rambling a little bit. I'm gonna cut to the chase. I think the way to solve all these is with, you guessed it, training, which is my number three thing, and some good training. And by training, I don't mean taking your pistol to the range and shooting a bunch of rounds. I mean, I think my friend James Yeager says, under the watchful eye of a competent instructor. Because if you're just considering yourself going and practicing training, you could be not even knowing it, you could be reinforcing bad habits or doing the wrong thing and creating bad muscle memory and bad skills. So people have said, I can't have thousands and thousands of dollars for training. Fighting pistol at Tactical Response, as an example, there's a lot of good schools. I personally think they're one of the best ones, and I've been to several. It's $550 right now. So I know that's the price of a pistol. I get it. It's worth the money. And honestly, it could literally, what it will do is it will show you what you need to, how you need to practice and expose to you your incompetencies. Yes, I said it. So anyway, basically, the point I was trying to make in this entire video, and hopefully it's not been too rambling and too uninteresting, is that the number one mistake I see people making in their concealed carry decisions is right here. And the solution to that is to get some qualified, good training. I highly recommend Tactical Response, tacticalresponse.com, but there are a lot of other good instructors in the USA as well. I just encourage you to, swallow your pride and go with an open mind, and don't lie to yourself, and don't try to, don't be in denial about your level of competency and your level of preparedness. Safety is paramount, so another thing you'll really get out of training is the correct safety way to safely handle a gun and carry a gun. Okay, well, as you can see, it's getting dark here, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. Bottom line, based upon what I've seen in a lot of comments from literally hundreds and hundreds of people, I think the number one mistake that a lot of people make, and the number one mistake I made for years and years concerning concealed carry, is all right up here, and it's based upon not being honest with yourself about your level of competence, your level of preparedness and readiness, and not thinking it through and being honest about what might or might not happen and what your capabilities are. Hopefully this has been helpful. I know it's been a rambling mess, but I just wanted to share this with you. I've been thinking about making this video for a while now, and I decided just to come out here to the old swing and sit down and do it. So I encourage you to get some really good training. Like again, Tactical Response is a really great place to get training, but there's a lot of other places too that are great. Wherever, just get some good training. It'll help you, and it will allow you to help others in your life. So hopefully this has been helpful. I really appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.